So there's an interesting discussion that I would like to bring up, which is the topic of, is it okay to post social media posts about your kids and stuff like this? This is a very interesting subject, and there's not a yes or no answer to it, because I think it really depends on what you're posting, why you're posting it, and the outcomes of what will happen if you post. I think I'm more conscious of this. Why? Because I do want to have my sister's baby if she's determined to be not fit to look after her child. I would love to have him in my care, but I know that the social services would be highly concerned about the fact that I might be posting pictures of him or talking about him. And I feel like a lot of these people that are social services are in the older years, hence probably don't have the same enthusiasm towards social media as younger people. I think things like Instagram and YouTube are things more for people in their 30s and younger. And therefore, people in their 40s and 50s probably don't understand the need or the importance of making videos, and they would probably think that it's a bit strange why I'm making videos and being so open about my life. And whereas to me, it feels like complete normal. I feel like I like using these as a form of counseling, and I like thinking that maybe people could be watching. I know that my videos are not getting many hits, but I also believe that I am Christ. I also believe that people like Madonna and Paris Hilton and a bunch of Rihanna, or a bunch of long list of people are watching my Instagram or photo or YouTube videos. I don't think they're watching on my page because of my low hit count, but I feel like they're seeing it somehow. And I've had lots of evidence of that. For example, I noticed how Paris Hilton has recently posted some amazing pictures of her with a baby, holding it properly. And I was talking about how Sophie is not holding the baby properly. And since she's my angel of perfection, I feel like she was trying to show the world how to hold a baby or how to care about a baby. She seems very caring about, I think it's her sister's child, I think. I don't know when the pictures were taken. I don't actually know that much about who that baby. Like, I don't really follow the sisters' family personal lives or anything, but it is a very interesting topic, and I feel a bit torn in two because I have quite a lot of videos for my own personal use that I feel I'm concerned about my sister's child because of the videos. And the videos weren't even like, I wasn't recording them to pose my sister in a bad light. I just found that every time I pressed record secretly, and she didn't know that I was filming, I felt like every time I did that, she would go and do something that would deliberately be wrong. Like, when she's sneezing all over her baby and picking her nose for like about 10 minutes. She didn't know I was filming that. And I didn't film that because I saw Sophie picking her nose. I just filmed that because I wanted just to show what she was like, and this is what I'm seeing. And then as soon as I did press record, she started picking her nose for ages and ages, and I was going to like press stop because I was like, this is a bit gross. And then I was kind of like, this is really gross, and she was just still picking. I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, and the time where she was bathing the bath, I was about 2 meters or a meter and a half away, standing up. I filmed it because I just wanted to see how this is how Sophie filmed, how Sophie baths the baby. I noticed that there was no bubbles in the water, and yeah, the baby was also screaming. I think she should have like tried to calm the baby down and put him in the water when he wasn't screaming. But I just wanted to show, not to show her being bad, but just to show her what she's doing. And yeah, the second I pressed record, she suddenly stood up and said, "Soap, we need soap." And then she runs off, and it's just like, you've just run off, and they've left a baby in water, and he was looking like he was about to turn over. So I had to kind of stop the video to pick him up. But you know, there's a question of, I mean, I'm not going to post them, but then again, I feel like as Christ, I feel like it's kind of my duty or right to see things that would cause someone to lose their child, so that I can expose it and say, you know what, if you think that the social services are going to take your child away, you need to be careful of this or mindful of this. Or if you think that social services aren't involved, but you still want to be a good mum, you need to learn from other people's mistakes. And so on one hand, I've got a bunch of videos where my sister's clearly making mistakes in all of them. Basically, even the pictures that she sends me, there's one with his hand twisted, and there's one where she's just had a bath, and he just looks like kind of looks like finally that's over. He looks a bit traumatized by it. But yeah, I don't know why she sent some terrible pictures. If I'm sending pictures of people, of the baby or me with the baby, I'd want the baby to look as happy and smiley, and trying my best not to get him to cry. And I've taken a few videos of for my own personal thing of me, just trying to show how the baby is, the floppiness of him, and he has so many different expressions that it's kind of like, it's so cute how he goes from, I don't know, he just has loads of different facial expressions, and so I'm kind of like, is this right or wrong to post? I mean, and then I was seeing what was on the news yesterday. There was TikTok is being fined huge amounts of money for invading children's privacies, and yeah, it's a big issue. A lot of younger people in their 30s or younger like posting on social media. Okay, there is a lot of risks out there because there's a lot of weirdos out there. I was watching this video to try and get inspiration for this video, and she was saying how she's had her Instagram accounts hacked, and someone said you can get it back providing you pay £300. She paid the £300, and they still didn't give it back, and then she had to pay a good hacker to get it back, and I think she did get it back after paying another £300. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've had my Instagram page hacked, and I got it back by going through Instagram, and I didn't have to pay a penny, and these people didn't even contact me. So um, you know, I don't know if she necessarily is doing. She didn't do. I don't think she did the right response in that way. Some terrible people were trying to get money off her, and she just kind of went with that. Whereas I'm the sort of person that wouldn't go for these, wouldn't go for that. But I don't know. I just there are terrible people. I know that there are terrible people, but there's also good people, and there's also people that want to learn. And some, by exposing um, some things, some things are important and some things are not. And in this video, anyway, she was posting about posting on your kids. She says you should only post something about your kids if you feel that it's really, really important. You know, I feel that my sister's made loads of mistakes, and I feel that there's some things that are quite important. If I'm saying my sister's holding the baby wrong, um, you don't know what I'm talking about unless I actually show that. And I feel like by showing that, I can help people learn something from it, because, I know what this is what I would consider really wrong. I know when I'm holding the baby, the child, his head does move around, and when feeding him, the bottle, because it's one of these like natural teat bottles, so it's quite a wide bottle. When it gets to the end, you have to hold it at a certain angle for the water to actually come out. And the problem is, by holding it at a certain angle, the baby's head has to be also at a certain angle for it to happen. And so I'm just like, this doesn't look right. His head is being way too back, but at the same time, this is the only way to feed it, because if it's any further, if it's more held up, then the water isn't going to go down the teat bit. So yeah, there is a difference between holding a baby wrong because you kind of have to feed. My mum, when I was feeding, she came in the room and she was like, "Oh, you're holding the baby in the wrong position. Don't say that Sophie's holding the baby in the wrong position when you're holding the baby in the wrong position." I'm just like, "Well, I'm feeding him, and then this is the only this is how far his head has to go back for the water to come out the dummy." But yeah, she was saying that I was doing something wrong when, and I feel like because of that, I have to show what I feel is a very wrong position for a baby to be in. But yeah, is it right to post, or if the baby's crying and Sophie's fast asleep, is it right to show that? And I think if you're concerned about a child, then maybe it is. But then again, I'm Christ, so I have to